If you're already working hard on your overhead, you've been practicing it fairly consistently, but it's not improving, then I'm going to help you to understand why in this video. And I'm also going to tell you what you need to do to fix the problem. And the solution is going to be very different to what you're expecting, because the reason that your overhead isn't improving in the way that you want is because your eye to hand, your eye to foot coordination, and probably your balance isn't good enough to allow you to hit a better quality overhead. Now, this sounds harsh when you first hear it, but this is just how tennis and all sports work. There are skill components to everything that you do in tennis. For a lot of people, the visual side of things is going to be challenging. Other players are going to struggle more with the coordination. Balance is always a big piece of the puzzle because of the specific difficulties for hitting the overhead, but the issues lie somewhere in between, and often players have problems with all of the areas. So what I want to do is kind of break down the overhead into its pieces so you can start to think, okay, which bit applies to you and which bit might you need to improve, and hopefully as we go through it, it's going to start to make sense once it's been explained to you. The first thing that happens, obviously we're starting with a split step, or hopefully we're starting with a split step. We're trying to land just after our opponent's made contact, and then we're going to react and move to the ball. So the first thing that has to happen before you can react and move to the ball is the visual side of things. And a lot of players simply do not react fast enough visually, so they're kind of there and then, the ball's already over the top of them before they've even had a chance to move. That generally comes down to visual function and not being able to read where the ball's going quickly enough. But then from there, the next big piece is going to be the movement to the ball. And this is going to be very challenging for both the coordination and for your balance. So in terms of coordination, we've got a specific footwork pattern. So we're landing from the split step, and then we're doing some kind of drop step where we push our leg back. So if I'm facing to the side, it normally means opening up, planting, and then doing a crossover step. Or as you get to higher levels, it's a little bit more dynamic, and you'll probably kind of be bouncing and landing, and it will turn it kind of into one motion. But it takes a lot of lower body coordination to do that, and really that's something that many players struggle with. But here's where it's also challenging for your balance system. In everyday life, I'm kind of walking forwards, or I'm looking in the direction that I'm moving. In tennis, we're not doing that, and when it comes to the overhead, we're moving backwards, but while we're moving backwards, we're looking up in the air, so we don't even get to see the ground for a point of reference. So what I'm relying on is my coordination and my balance system that lives in me on the air functioning properly. If there's problems with either of them, if the balance system isn't working well enough, it's just not going to let you move backwards quickly because it's a safety risk. And then from there, it's going to be a combination of kind of the visual side of things, because once I'm in position, I need to drive through my back leg to initiate the start of the overhead. When I start my swing, how fast I swing, that's based on visual information, my ability to judge distance and depth. We've then got the technique itself. And as you know, the serve is one of the hardest shots in tennis. We're in control of the ball, but it's very challenging because of the biomechanics. And now we've got serve biomechanics while we're generally running and moving backwards. So the coordination difficulty is tremendous. Firstly, can you actually use your kinetic chain in the right sequence? Can you efficiently generate that racket head speed? And can you adjust it based on the type of overhead that you're trying to hit? Can you direct it, to their forehand, to their backhand? Can you add slice to it? Can you be more aggressive? This all needs high levels of coordination to make the necessary adjustments. And again, the balance is going to feature in with this. And then obviously one of the most important parts is going to be your ability to keep your head up and your eyes locked on the target at contact. So trying to look upwards as you make contact, again, challenging on the visual system, actually tracking the ball, challenging on your coordination, and once again, challenging the vestibular system in the inner ear, because now we're trying to stay looking up, and that's not a position that a lot of people have trained their heads to be in. And these are the things that are preventing your overhead from improving. So the way that you really fix your overhead is to deal with these underlying problems. The good news though is that this is something that you can do using brain-based training. I haven't just made this video to say that you're never going to improve your overhead. I want to help you with it. So I've created a free Tennis Vision Starter program. It's going to show you how to train some of your eye movements and some of the stuff for the balance system that's going to be really important for your overhead. So there'll be a link up there, there'll be a link down in the description so you can start to go through this program. But if you really want more help with this stuff, then potentially you might need to work on other things as well. So I've created a masterclass to teach you how you can use brain-based training to improve vision in a lot more depth, to improve coordination, to improve the balance, also to improve your focus and concentration, because a lot of the time people just lose focus, and we can use brain-based training to improve that as well. So the links will also be up there and down there so that you can check it out. Okay, hopefully this video has been beneficial to you. I know that I didn't go through the technique in its entirety, and that's potentially what you were hoping for, but I promise this is the thing that's going on. There are so many players out there who work on their smash, work on their overhead, practice, coaching, lessons, and it doesn't change because their body isn't capable of it. Start that free vision program. That's going to start working on things, and then, you know, when you go back into your practice, you'll start to find that it's just a heck of a lot easier to do. Okay? If you did enjoy the video, give me that thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, really appreciate it if you could do that well. I'll catch you next time.